up there with them
So
tactically.
is Eddie Howe then?
Eddie Howe won a trophy, fair play, but I don't think he's up there with the.
But okay, well, he's been to more finals. He's been to more finals than your manager.
Yeah, but I don't judge managers
in 2
solely
years'
on
time.
finals.
2 years less time. You don't judge him. So
Egal,
you judge it on?
Not to crash out on you, but what would suggest that Arteta is one of the best in the world? And when you say best in the world, what number is that?
Like, that's a good question.
He's in the top 10.
Top 10.
Yeah, so you got the Peps, you got the Ancelottis, you got the what do you call it? Diego Simeone's, Xavi's, these guys who've all won trophies. But then I think Arteta's in that mix.
Just a slot, but ahead or behind him. A slot ahead or behind him.
Based on this season's performances, you put Slot ahead of him. But I think
is Klopp still ahead of them, even though he's retired?
What? No, retired managers don't count.
So you're saying? Do you think Slot? No, take Slot's career, by the way, and his first full-time job at a team in the top division, was the same year that Arteta took over at Arsenal. He managed in the lower division. Yeah, then he was number 2 at Alkmaar. Or Alkmaar then took the job, can't remember. Yeah, and his first full-time job in the top tier or top division league was the same year Arteta got the job at Arsenal. He's been managing for 2 years longer than Arteta, but the same amount in the top league or top tier league. And he's won more.
Fair play. I think.
So is he better than Arteta then?
I think people don't realize what Arteta's been able to do by revitalizing Arsenal and just getting us back to contention, delivering an FA Cup, of course, and also finding a way to fix up the squad with a blend of like the youth and everything else. He's done a really good job. And
where's your blend of attackers?
I think a lot of blame is put on him for Arsenal not delivering, but at the same time, we also criticize the recruitment and the quality of the squad. We just weren't good enough to beat Man City, and this season we're unfortunate to go through the situations that we've gone through. Fair play to Liverpool, no fault of theirs that we weren't good enough to beat them. But I don't think all this stuff about sacking the manager is necessary.
I just want to know the situations. Let me
just finish. I don't think it's necessary for Wolfie and other people to always be saying sack him after this, sack him after that. It's not a necessary discussion when I think we're one of the best set up teams going into next season.
You said that last season.
City having to rebuild,
said that a couple of times.
Liverpool having to rebuild, and there seems to be a little bit more stability at Arsenal with the age and profile of our players.
Egal,
and just having to sort out that attack.
You did say that you were in a better position, ready for this season. What have you been through this season? When you just said
we did not have the summer that I expected, though.
So can I?
But you were happy coming out in summer.
And I think the change that people want is Edu leaving.
Oh, sorry. Before you, Cal, I agree with you on the new guy coming in. I think that could be a game changer, but I do think the game changer might be Arteta being sacked because of this new guy coming in. But
Thank you.
Gal, just one thing you said when you said what you've been through this season. What did you mean by what you've been through this season?
I've said it numerous times. I'm not saying.
Sorry, I haven't seen. I'm asking.
I'm not saying it to belittle Liverpool. I'm just saying Arsenal have had to go through their own struggles with injuries due to our own mismanagement of recruitment.
And he gets the final say on the recruitment.
Hi, over there, Egal. You just said everything we've had all season, mate.
Yeah,
I agree with you, Martin. I agree with you, Martin.
Egal, which teams haven't had injuries this season? Just
both of us have had massive.
No, which teams? All 20.
Come on, Egal. Our injuries have been insane.
The manager out of his own mouth said he gets the final say on signings. His words.
That doesn't. So
it's his fault then, isn't it?
That doesn't change the fact that he doesn't have the final say on how much money we spend.
Well, he knew that we had 80 million to spend, and he spent it on a left back who can't fucking defend, and a midfielder who's now up front.
I think Mazu Skelly's development has changed.
I'm not talking about Skelly. I'm not talking about Skelly. I'm talking about the 80 million quid he could have spent on Gyökeres.
Wasn't Skelly meant to be a left winger anyway?
I think we wanted Sesko in the summer, but he chose not to come to us because we didn't give him the guarantees. And honestly,
the guarantee, which is why no strikers of any note are going to join us, is because 29 plays up front.
I respect the fact that we don't lie to the players that we recruit, unlike Chelsea, where they lie to people and they tell them these kind of minutes are going to be given, and then they show up and they're shocked.
You don't lie to them. So when you bought Kai Havertz, did you tell him you were going to play him up front or in midfield?
When he came, he was originally signed as a midfielder.
No, he wasn't.
So he was lied to.
Hold up, Wolfie, because the girl loves to do this. Yeah, well, he never said that at all. He was asked in a press conference, and I do the press conference reactions, and I've got a big forehead, pause. Right? I remember a lot of this stuff. This manager was asked in a press conference, where are you playing him? He said, we haven't decided yet. We don't know. He then said, after he was dropping stink, thank you. So he was then asked after about 5, 6, 7 games with him dropping stinkers in midfield, about his performances. He also said in that press conference, the next one, when he was asked again, he said, we've got to give him 55 games before we can judge him. Why? He's
he said we have to give. He said we have to give the team 55 games.
Nope, it was about Kai Havertz. Fuck us.
No, he said the midfield.
No, he said we have to give him 55 games.
No, he said the midfield partnership.
You have to find it. Come on, Egal.
Go find it. And if you're wrong, you're not going to tell us.
Well, I will.
Egal, I can't look. I don't think Arteta is a crap manager, but to put him in the top 10,
by the way, neither do I.
To put him as a top 10 manager in world football when he hasn't won anything apart from the FA Cup. Hold on, let me land, bro. And he spent the amount of money he spent. I know you're gonna say, look, he built them from where they were to where they are challenging now. Klopp did that with way less of a budget. But he wasn't given the time that Arteta was given to not still achieve something. Fact of the matter is, you pushed City close last season and the season before, fair enough. Everyone, including myself, said going into this season, Arsenal will win the league because I don't see how City can sustain this, especially with the lack of transfers they did in the summer. I said Arsenal are best positioned to sort that out and win the league. Liverpool Football Club signed one player in the summer, Federico Chiesa, who's barely seen the football pitch. We are using the same set of players that we used last season that fell short, but yet we've put a double points tally ahead of you guys this season, and we're in March. Egal, if Arteta's the manager that you say is, that should never be happening. I'm not sitting there saying the Premier League is a guarantee for him, because anything can happen throughout the season. He should not be as far away from Liverpool as he is.
Yeah,
I'm sitting there telling you as a Liverpool fan right now, this ain't the Liverpool team of 19, 20, 18, 19, and the quad chasing season. We were a team this season that you could apply pressure and potentially catch. I'm not saying that you would have, but you could have caught us. If we're looking at the previous seasons and you're looking at the previous teams we had on the Klopp, you're not catching those teams once we get a league. City's the only team in that conversation. The fact that you guys are sitting here and you've spent so much money, this is completely his team and his squad, and you've not achieved anything. You can still win the Champions League. I think it's unlikely, but it can still happen. So you can't rule it out unless it doesn't happen. The fact that you're sitting there saying he's a top 10 manager, in my opinion, the guy is crazy, bro. When you look at what other managers have achieved on less of a budget, less time and less resources and less personnel that they have to their disposal, he has messed things up for you guys in terms of his player management, his player recruitment, and his tactics. I remember the season before last where you guys were playing free-flowing football and you were putting teams to the sword. Last season, you started to be a bit more pragmatic, but you're still putting teams to the sword. This season, it's been completely opposite. You've gone into games to not lose as opposed to go to win. We went to Man City and we set up with a plan to win. You went to Man City with a plan to not lose. And that is a difference. Bro, me and Daps, we used to go back and forth about Liverpool and City all the time. I'm sure Martin can agree with me here. Hear me out. Hear me out. When it comes to games between Liverpool and Man City, when we're both chasing the league, it was you cannot lose away from home. But at home, you got to get the win, especially for Liverpool. City can get away with it because their consistency is absolutely phenomenal.
Oh, but your context.
The context is there, Egal, because I get you've had injuries. Now, hear me out, Egal. I get you've had injuries, but you should have enough in that squad to deal with it.
I'm not even going there.
He's going to tell you we beat him at home.
When you go back to the winning at home, winning away, you guys didn't beat us at our ground.
We didn't need to. We haven't played you at home yet.
You did play us at our ground.
No, that's why I said we haven't played you at our ground yet.
We win at home, don't lose away.
We beat Man City and Liverpool at our ground last season. The issue has never been the top 6 teams. The issue for us has actually been the other teams, like the West Hams, the Fulhams.
Yeah, but that's a given, Egal. That doesn't even need to be said in a title race.
And that's down to the management and the management of the players, Egal. The mentality is not right.
I think Arteta's reputation amongst football fans is different to amongst experts and people who actually work in football.
What is his reputation?
No. I'll tell you why.
If you ask any person who works and does the day-to-day football analysis or management at any club in the world, they would definitely tell you Arteta, based on recent performances, tactics, influence over a football club, he's definitely amongst the best in the world.
Right, okay, let me
Sorry,
just
Lee, really sorry.
Although he has not achieved what other managers have achieved, he's already shown in such a small time with the influence and the impact that he's been able to have at Arsenal and in one of the top leagues in the world, go up toe to toe against one of the best teams and the best managers in Pep and Man City.
And fall short. Egal, I'm going to ask one question. If I said to you right now, Darwin Núñez is going to be Liverpool's striker next season, what would you say as a rival fan? Would you be happy or upset about? Would you be happy or upset about that as a rival fan? I'd be happy. I'm telling you as a rival fan, if Arteta is your manager next season, I'm happy.
Thank you.
And you want to know something? If what do you call it? You guys have the same season you had this season with no Mo Salah and no Van Dijk, you're gonna lose.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, would you have said that? First and foremost, I was right on what I said about 55 games. His words were, I once said that he will need 55 games so as he can understand the system and style of play so we can get the best out of him. His words. Thank you very much. But anyway, when PSG had Mbappe, Neymar and Messi, yeah, would you say that they were a better team than they are now?
Who?
PSG. Yeah. When they have Mbappe, Neymar.
No, they're a better team now.
Well, okay, so cool. They're a better team now, but they had Messi, Neymar and Mbappe in their team. Yeah, so this is exactly the same with what we're doing at Arsenal. Get rid of the manager who you deem unbelievably good. So let's say he is unbelievably good. Go and give it to somebody like Eddie Howe. We have more chance of fucking winning. Because I don't care what it looks like. Yeah, win me something. I am bored, mate. Yeah, honestly, okay, I am bored.
I found your quote. You actually misquoted Arteta once again. He said,
that's on Just Arsenal's
website. When they play 55 times together, it will be a better, and it will flow better, and they will understand each other better, and we will
you shouldn't need 55
be able to dominate.
Okay,
more.
So after that 55 games then, because that was on Just Arsenal website that I read that from. So if it's wrong, it's wrong. Well, if that's 55 games, yeah, right, in all competitions, let's say that's a season, yeah. How did that work out then, and how's it worked out since? Because that was in January.
I'm just saying you got it wrong. He wasn't talking about one player.
Well, Just Arsenal website, I've got it wrong then. I'm just reading it off of their website, so it's what it is. How's that worked out since then? Because how many games has he played for Arsenal now?
I don't think Havertz is a problem like everyone. I don't think Havertz is a problem as much as everyone says he is. We're not going to have him as a main. 55 games. If we do what we're supposed to do in the summer, we're not going to have him as a week in, week out starter.
Okay, fantastic. How comes Timber didn't need 55 games?
No, because Timber, we already know what Timber is capable of.
How comes Ethan didn't need 55 games then?
Ethan's a youngster, he's still getting embedded in.
Lewis Skelly did need 55.
Lewis Skelly ain't needed 55 games. And I guarantee you're shoehorning him into a combined 11 against Madrid. Yeah, exactly.
Can I say something? Hang on, Lee. Can I say something? Right? Sorry, I was listening to half of that while I was making some food. Gal, whenever I watch the debates, like with you and Lee and you and other people, the thing that screams to mind is I love how passionate you are about the manager and about the club. I think that's brilliant, right? I'm not knocking that. But a lot of it seems like copium because of the failure. And what I mean by that is when you say things like you want to put Arteta in that conversation as these best managers in the world, and he's up there, blah, blah, blah. It's not based on any factual evidence. He's done well. As I said before, I think he's done well to steady the ship at Arsenal, to get you going up to second. But the fact is now, this is 3 years in a row you're going to finish second if you do this year. You're not as good as you were 3 years ago. You're not as good as you were last year. You've actually dipped in both years in terms of performance. In the transfer market, it seems like this guy doesn't want a striker. I don't understand, and this isn't my fight. This isn't about me being Spurs. It's just me being a football fan. I don't understand how you can watch 5.5 years of this guy and still praise the way you do. Either your standards are in the gutter, yeah, or you're seeing something with Arteta that the rest of the football world are not seeing. And last point I'll make, when you said there about if you speak to professionals from football clubs, that is not true in any way, shape or form. I've got friends that work for multiple football clubs across this country, yeah? And when you speak to them about football, they don't speak in glowing terms the way you do about Arteta. Callum was 100% right. For 2, 3, 4 years, yeah, where you've been behind City, I've been the one person, whether I'm right or wrong, Lee might tell me I'm wrong, Wolfie might, and Never Foul might. They'll tell you what. I have said this though. I always said Arsenal shouldn't be winning the league because City are that damn good. I've always said that. You shouldn't be winning the league. So when people like Lee go, no, it's failure. I'm going, no, you shouldn't be winning it. But this year, City have fallen off an absolute cliff. Sorry, City have fallen off an absolute cliff, right? And you guys should have been that team in pole position to take that title away from them. But a Liverpool team that have signed I'm not even going to count Chiesa. I can't remember seeing him play a game, right? Liverpool team that signed no one with the same squad as last year are pissing all over you. Like, surely you see, well, we're not that good and the manager's not that great and it is time for him to move on.
I honestly look at it the opposite. I think Arteta has done an outstanding job, and this has probably been his best season as a manager because he's had to deal with so much adversity. He's had to deal with so much adversity. And in order,
wait, let him finish.
You guys are laughing.
But, check the rear view mirrors, Egal, bro. Check the rear view mirrors.
It's easier for you to manage. It's easier for you to manage 2023 when there's no expectations and you don't have as many injuries. It's easier for you to manage when majority of your team is fit and you now do have the expectations, but you are still able to turn out results because you have your best 11 available. This season, what he's had to do without having his best players available, without having his best 11 available, without having his best midfield, best attack, best defense at certain parts of the season, and to still get us third in the Champions League. To still have a competing shows more.
I see what you did. You kidnapped Win the Dog. That's where he's at.
About Arteta's ability to problem solve and find more.
He is the problem.
He's got win. Hang on, guys. Let me respond. Let me respond to him. But Egal, when you're saying two things, I'm going to pull you up what you just said there. The fact that you think this is his best season, when I think everybody can see that Arsenal are not. 2 years ago, as a Spurs fan, I'm looking at Arsenal and I'm going, look how bloody good Arsenal are. My fan,
we're 8 points off last year, by the way.
Hang on, let me finish. Guys, let me finish, right? My own fan base make videos about me twerking for Arsenal because I said how good you were, right? Last year, you were good, but not as good as the year before. This year, you've been nowhere near it, right? You've been, no offense, but a Nottingham Forest, who were in a relegation battle last year, they are 4 points behind you. So there's that point. And
we're your rivals in the league.
Hang on. And that bit there about problem solving, Egal, dude, listen, I know I don't like the word delusion, but if he was to problem solve, you can't claim injuries and then problem solve in the same sentence. Right. Because if you're using the injuries, then what you're saying is he hasn't actually found a solution to any of your injuries.
1 second.
Go on.
Were Man City not also going through injury problems? Did Pep find solutions? No, he didn't.
Who's got more chance of winning the Champions League? Who's got more chance of winning the Champions League season? Man City or Arsenal? Who's got more chance?
Champions League, right?
Egal.